what his father said, he was a leader that led by example on the football team. He was very well liked, popular, going places. And then they're going to just leave him out there. They're going to say, oh, he wanted to stay on the island and talk to the girl, but then he leaves his cell phone and other things. No, that's not what just like I got to agree with Benjamin Crump. He's been saying it all weekend, all week. That's just not what young people do today. Hell, half the time you can't get young people to put their phone down. They got their head in their phone when they in the car, when they at the dinner table, everywhere they go, damn near have their head in their phone when they're walking across the street, can get ran over by a car. So you're going to tell me that this young man, Nolan, just left his phone and other items with the usual suspects.
Tell the truth.
And decide just to stay on the island because he was talking to a girl, and of course she's come out and she's put a monkey ranch in their story. And let me read to you what that monkey ranch, if I can find, I think I have, give me 1 minute, because I think I have some of that information. Give me 1 minute. I want to read something, everybody. I just want to make sure I've got the right information at my fingertips as I'm strolling. And let me see here. I think the young lady put a monkey ranch and them sitting up here talking about he wanted to stay on the island. And I wanted to read something. I'm looking for it. Sorry, bear with me. So I'm going to get moving with this stream tonight, but something that I want to find real quick. Isn't it frustrating when it's something that you want to find and you can't find it just in time when you're looking for something? And where is the statement? Man, I want to find this statement because she definitely said something that I thought was interesting. So let me go to this right here. Maybe I put it in a screenshot. I might have screenshot it. Oh, well, if I can't find it, I'm going to stop right there. And I can't find it all of a sudden, what I was looking for. So let me go on with the rest of the presentation. Let me show this video to you. Let me know in the chat if you agree with the brother's sentiments here.
Possible. We then blasted out to social media. We've got
Boom.
a huge following.
Now, before I play, there's a brother who said, hey, we got to stop going on a trip with these folks, right? What you saw there was one of the guys who did the rescue mission on the island looking for Nolan. What I want to do is I want to play this back because I want you to hear the first thing that he says, and which is they left him. Listen to this.
I will say this is that I don't believe any of the friends stayed.
And
boom. I want to play that again just to emphasize the point tonight.
I will say this is that I don't believe any of the friends stayed.
And what did you know about Nolan's disappearance when you first got that call? Did you know of anything beforehand?
Just basic information, stuff that I gathered off of social media, as well as information from the mother. Nothing that was super relevant to finding Nolan or to searching for Nolan. Just information that he got left on the island. Left or he wasn't there, possibly, hopefully, and as we prayed that he may have.
You hear that? He got left on the island. They said, check this out, the contradictions. They said the white boys that who went out there with, they made statements that he wanted to stay on the island. The the white guy that you were listening to, who was part of the rescue mission to find him, not rescue, but to find if he was alive or he needed to be rescued. Yeah, that's the proper word. He said he got left on the island. Being left on the island is not the same as saying that a person wanted to stay on the island. He didn't say that Nolan wanted to stay on the island. He said he got left on the island. Let's play that again. I'm making a point here.
Or to searching for Nolan. Just information that he got left on the island. Left or he wasn't there, possibly, hopefully, and as we prayed that he may have made it onto another boat. So what we do is we gather information, right? We gather as much information as possible. We then blast it out to social media. We've got a huge following, and this one went extremely viral, to ask for help. The more people that see something, they could possibly say something. So we actually, at the time of him being found, we had people in the air, we had boats on the water, we had boots on the ground, on land, on the mainland as well, looking in 3 different locations where people had said he may have been seen that day, that evening before, or that evening he came up missing. So we take into account
everything about this has been interesting to the point that we're seeing the contradictions. This guy was part of the rescue mission, or the mission to find him. He said in the beginning of this video that I just showed you that that he was left, right? Then he said that that again, he emphasized that Nolan was left. Although these individuals, the white boys that he went out there with, these kids, it was reported that they said that he decided to stay. So you see, the stories are confusing. And now I found the clip that I wanted to read from Katie was her name. And let me read this. I forgot it was on my Facebook. So let me read this to you. And it said right here, Katie is cooperating as male friends have lawyered up. They have lawyered up. Interesting. If you're not guilty of anything, why are you luring up, right? They have lawyered up after Judge Stephanie Ashley Coles deactivated her social media and her son's social media over the Nolan case. I'm going to get to that judge, and she had some things to say, and these people are acting suspect to everybody. As far as I'm concerned, all of these kids, let me put this back up here. All these YTs, these white kids that he went out there with, they have all lawyered up. My thing is, if you're not guilty, tell me if I'm wrong or right, everybody. Put sevens in the chat room. Get the algorithms cranking up over here. If you're not guilty, why would you need to lawyer up? Now, people will say, well, you should do it, just as a precautionary. But my thing is, if you didn't do anything wrong, why are the kids getting lawyers already? I mean, they got lawyers real quick, y'all. And the parents and what have you got lawyers real quick. And the question you got to ask yourself is, why are they lawyering up so quickly, so fast? Is it because they've done something criminal? And we know that there was an argument on the island. I want to emphasize that as well, that there was an argument on the island, something that took place. Let me see. I want to get an audio clip. I want to play for you from Benjamin Crump. Let's see if I can get that audio clip up. It's an audio clip I want to play for you guys. But ask yourself this. Why would they leave him there? Why would they do that? I want somebody to let me know. Why would they put it in the chat room? Why would they do that? And this is the thing you're going to hear through the theme of this show tonight. You don't have any friends. One brother that I'm going to play for you tonight says that his grandfather told him a long time ago that you don't really have any friends. Because if you had real friends would never leave you and go home, then lawyer up. And then they got your items that they have not returned back to the family. We're going to get into that some more tonight. So you might as well pop your popcorn, get your drinks, whatever you like, and listen to this audio from Ben Crump.
And then you have the young lady make a statement, and she said, Nolan and I finished talking, and Nolan said he was going back to the boat. The boys on the boat said, no, Nolan told them he was going to stay with her. So which is it? And all we know is Nolan is dead.
Did y'all hear that? I just read the statement of the young lady who's been cooperating with the authorities. What she says is in complete contradiction. You had the rescue guy that I just played not too long ago say that he was left. But then they turn around and say, no, he wanted to go back. This is what Crump said again.
And then you have the young lady make a statement, and she said, Nolan and I finished talking, and Nolan said he was going back to the boat. The boys on the boat said, no, Nolan told them he was going to stay with her. So which is it? And all we know is Nolan is dead.
It's a damn shame. That's another one of these white kids, white boys that he was with. Now he had black friends. So for anybody to say, oh, he only had, no, he had black friends, and they also put a ranch and everything too, because they were actually down there. So the friends, the black friends that came out, everybody, they put a big monkey ranch into what the garbage that they're trying to tell us so far. The question is, should we be hanging out with individuals like this? They want to tell us that, oh, being with black people is dangerous. Being around your own people is dangerous. Hell, it can be dangerous being around anybody that you really don't know. You think you know them, but you really don't know them. This is no way. Now, the family has already said that he can swim. So anybody that comes out with that narrative, well, you know, black people can't swim, BS. They said that their son was athletic. He can swim. That was not his problem. This whole situation is a shame. What happened to this young man who had great promise, was going to do great things. He wasn't a thug. He was a scholar athlete. His mom said that he was a very nice kid. He treated people with respect. He was respected in his community, but he wasn't respected by the usual suspects who just left. There's too many conflicting information. Too much. Let me play this. This is the one I wanted to play. The brother says, just say no.
Black people, stop going on motherfucking vacation with these white folks. Your white friends call you, say, hey, bud, what's up? Hey, you ain't going on vacation? No. Hell no. Because y'all keep going on them vacations, and they keep coming back home, and we can't find you. You got to tell them white people no right now.
Do you agree with everything that the brother said right there? I think he's a popular podcaster. I think he does sport podcasts and what have you. Do you agree with everything that came out of his mouth that I have just shown you? This young man was no thug. He was going places. He had a family that cared about him. Mom and dad seemed to be you could tell that this young man was well raised. When I heard the father speak about how he had a plan, about how the father said that his son wanted to have a family of his own one day, that he wanted to have a career. You know, obviously he wanted to play sports, but he said that him and his son had a plan for how he wanted to have structure in his life to get to where he wanted to get. So we're not talking about no black kid who was just thugging around, BSing around. This young man who is no longer here. We have to remember there was an argument There was some type of argument. There was something was going on. There was an argument that broke out. That was reported. There was an argument. And I think the argument was over the very thing that was missing, that was not in his possession, which was the phone, the text messages that the mom said all of a sudden they weren't there. And isn't it interesting that some of the argument about this situation was over text messages, was over something that was going on around the phone and what was on the phone. Let me give you what they originally said was the situation right here. And let me do this right here. So after the 12 hours of the investigation into Nolan Willis's death, this is what was known in the beginning, folks, but things are changing. Willis went to Horn Island on a boat with friends. Willis was last seen at 3 p.m. on July 4th, but now they're saying something about 4 o'clock. Some things are not adding up. On the west tip of Horn Island, and I already showed y'all example of this island, the west horn tip of it. So take a look at that right there. Wells' mother made the initial phone call to JCSD near midnight on July 4th because he hadn't shown up back home. Wells was found in the water near Northwestern. Now, before they were saying that they didn't know if it was his body or not, right? In the beginning, the northwest tip of Horn Island, northwest tip. Look at that right there. Northwest tip of this Horn Island that they found his body. So they say. On July 6th, around 8:45 a.m., they find his body. So they say. Family confirmed on social media of his passing. Autopsy is scheduled for July 7th. We were supposed to get that news today, according to Attorney Crump. But they said that it's going to take a little bit longer because they had to transport, and let me just say something to everybody. Let me just say, the family confirmed on social media of the passing. Autopsy scheduled for July 7th. Who was last seen with Willis? How did Willis end up in the water? Why did Willis not come back with who he went with? And his father said he taught his son to always stay in with the numbers, that there's safety with being with the crowd of people that you come with. But in this case, it may not have been as safe as the father thinks it could be, because once you hear what the father has, and I got the video clips, more things are turning in this case. Something still does not add up. Why did no one from the island report him missing? That's really scary. Jackson County Sheriff's, which is JCSD, and investigators are interviewing multiple people and following lots of leads. The investigation is still ongoing, so they tell us. This situation is sad as all get out. I appreciate everybody that's here in the chat room that's rocking with me tonight. Thank you. Let me give you a clap, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm taking my time with this because it's a lot of information, a lot of circumstances that are happening. And I want to make sure I'm right. So, of course, like I said before, you have the father, the dad. Here he is with the dad in his football uniform. This is a great picture. I've enhanced these pictures to make them look even more crispier to the eye. This kid was on to great things. Look at him. He has an award-winning smile. His dad has an award-winning smile. Y'all, a lot of times people talk about where's the black father when you don't have fathers in the family to stabilize things. You're going to have kids that will run amok. This kid doesn't come from that type of cloth. This kid comes from a good family. Here he is with his mother in uniform as well. This is a great picture right here. I'm thinking about changing my thumbnail to the picture that you see right here on this video after. Great picture with the mom as the family has spoke out. And then here is Nolan again in his uniform, in the blue colored uniform. And remember, he was playing, I think, in junior college and looking forward to making his way into the 4-year division, division, top dog division football. Here he is. This is a grandfather. This is him this is not the grandfather yet. I'm going to show you. He has a grandfather who's the father of the mother. But here he is, 2025, graduation. Right? Getting his associate degree because he's going on to the 4-year school. Well, he would have had it not been for whatever was going on that island with these suspect individuals that I can tell you right now, I don't trust this whole situation. It does not smell right. Something is wrong here. And then here is the grandfather who has spoke out on social media, I think Facebook, and he said these words.
Mysterious death of a teenager in Mississippi who vanished on July 4th.
Yeah, officials say Nolan Xavier Wells disappeared after taking a boat trip with friends. ABC's Alex Perez has the latest.
An urgent investigation to determine how 18-year-old Nolan Wells died on a boating trip with friends off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. As they await the results of the official autopsy, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office wants to hear from anyone who was on Horn Island.
Now, I want to pause that because I want to show you what the grandfather said. He said, too many unanswered questions. How can an island that was searched yesterday produce my grandson's body this morning? There's nothing right about this. Nolan Xavier Willis deserves the same thing that people he knew. That's right. Wholeheartedly. He deserves the same justice, the same opportunity for his body to be found, for the truth. They found his body now, but for the truth to come out about what really took place on that island that night. That day, that evening, something was going on because we know there was an argument and that was reported. The grandfather goes on to say he deserves the same thing that people he knew associated with will enjoy in life. He put this post out on July 6th when they found his body, according to reports. The mother put out on social media the passing, and the autopsy is scheduled for July 7th. And then the grandfather put this out right here on July 6th at 7:59 p.m. on Facebook. And all of a sudden, he's got a lot of people subscribing or following him on Facebook, and he doesn't really like it. He's saying, why is it that everybody is now all of a sudden want to follow me when my focus is my son, my grandson? And I agree with him. I agree with the brother. Back to this news report.
For the 4th of July weekend.
I would urge anyone that had information or was on the island to let us interview you and take down as much information as we can to really piece together and figure out what may have happened.
Authorities say Wells' friends left the island and he stayed behind and was supposed to take a different boat back to the mainland Saturday, but never did. After a desperate search, Wells' body was found off the shore Monday. Investigators say they have no information at this time to indicate a crime was committed. And this morning, for the first time, we're seeing and hearing from Wells, who spoke with our affiliate WLOX on the day he signed to play college football.
It's truly a blessing, just being here with some of my best friends, teammates, and we're all going to college together, most of us, so it's just truly a blessing to be here.
His high school coach saying Wells was much more than an outstanding football player and that he carried himself with humility, treated others with respect, worked hard, and led by example. The teenager's emotional family, desperate for answers, they've hired civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who says his team will conduct an independent investigation.
Well, I'm looking forward to, not looking forward in case I'm looking, in the sense that I'm looking forward to, what I'm saying is I'm looking forward to knowing exactly what the autopsy report's going to say. And the reason why I want to know what that autopsy report's going to say, because we already have the haters, the critics, the buck dancers, the raccoons, who are telling black people, oh, you guys are jumping the gun, wait for the autopsy report, what have you. Even if that autopsy report says that he did drown, it still doesn't change the fact that there was an argument. There's inconsistent information about whether he chose to stay on the island or not. There's lots of contradictions. Those kids have already lawyered up. They said one thing. The girl who he was talking to, she's already put a hole into what they were saying. Damn it, they should have every one of those kids. Every one of them should be interrogated big time, because he's not alive. How do you go on a trip? Look at all these white kids that he's out there with. How do you go on a trip and everybody else makes it back home alive, but the black kid doesn't make it home alive? And we already know that there's been a history of situations happening. Remember Peter Bernard Spencer, 29-year-old, he went out with all white friends. They shot him to his death and claimed it was basically self-defense. Nobody went to jail for what they did to him. Okay. What about, let me see, this is the one I want to go for right here. Remember 12 years ago, Kendrick Johnson, the tragic, suspicious death shocked the nation. The 17-year-old was found inside a rolled up gym mat, right? This situation, Kendrick was 17 years old, rolled up in a mat. Two white boys, last people he was with before he ended up not being alive. Why don't the buck dancers and the critics out there talk about those cases and why those black kids at that time in those cases didn't get no justice? Now, let me let you see one of his friends.
As some would express their lack of trust when it comes with being the only black.
Right. We're going to get back to that in just a moment, but let me show you something. Here is one of his good friends. I think a best friend, black youngster. Both of these individual brothers are his friends, but the youngster to the right of the picture, I think him and Nolan have a special bond. I think they're best friends. And he adds another wrinkle in Monkey Ranch into what the usual suspects tried to say about Nolan, that he wanted to stay back, and then he gonna stay back and leave not only his cell phone, but guess what, y'all? He left his keys. They had his keys. The father, who I'm going to get into with this, the father that you see right here, they had a press conference with Al Sharpton. I know how we feel about Al Sharpton. I'm not a fan of Al Sharpton. But the father went to the National Action Network. They had a press conference in New York because they were in Good Morning America, ABC. I got that clip for you too. And the father said that he had to go to one of the houses of these kids. I believe it's this kid Jax right here to the far right of the picture. I believe Jax is his name. That they were scared. They were shaking in their boots when he came to their house to retrieve keys because they had his car keys. How is it that Nolan, according to them, is going to stay back and don't take his car keys from them and don't say, hey, give me my cell phone, when we know there was an argument that was related to that cell phone. They gonna just go home, lawyer up, didn't have the decency to talk to his family, and had the possession of his keys to his car. And the father said when he confronted, I believe the white boy on the right, Jax, when he confronted him, make sure y'all share this video. Share this video. I'm dropping science over here. The father said that they tried to lie and act like they didn't have no keys, that they were acting suspicious. If you're not guilty of anything, why are you acting suspicious? They have lawyered up. And then when the father showed up, the father said that he really wanted to do something, but because there were other kids there, he held his composure and was saying, I just come to get my son's keys because I know y'all got the keys. Why would they have his keys? If they said that he decided to stay, why didn't they give him his keys? Not only his keys, but his cell phone. And when the father showed up at the house, at their house, they was acting real, one, scary, one, suspicious, and two, acting like they didn't have Nolan's keys. Very suspect, y'all. Very suspect. And then you have his friend who actually did come to the island later. And let's listen to this because it goes to the contradiction. Check this out.
As some would express their lack of trust when it comes with being the only black person in certain settings, and they feel that Wells' disappearance is another example. Now, as people continue to question Nolan's white friends whom he went to the island with, his black friends and best friend are now responding, explaining why they weren't with him at the time. On Monday, his best friend Javon Williams would join several of their peers at the boat dock where officials looked to have brought back Wells' body. There, Williams would speak to local outlets and Herald to give his reaction to the breaking news. According to Williams, he was supposed to be on the same boat with Wells, but it had got filled up and he rode on a different boat. Williams would go on to confirm that he did see Nolan on the island. As soon as we got out there, he told me that he loved me. Williams would also go on to say that he last saw Wells close to 4 p.m. And according to him, along with others, reports seeing Nolan with a girl while amongst their friends.
Boom. On this particular part right here, let me push this back here.
Williams would also.
Boom. Let's push that back. I want to illustrate something.
And according to him.
Boom, right there. Let's illustrate something. So right here, this is where he was last seen, kind of in the beach, on the beach front of this place. And it was reported that there was an argument, there was some commotion between Wells and one of these usual suspects that you see in this picture right here. There was some commotion, and that when he was talking to the girl, all of a sudden, how do you go from being out here like this to talking about you going to stay there? Oh, everybody, no, it's no big deal. Y'all keep my car keys. Y'all keep my cell phone. I'm just going to stay on the damn island. Now, the best friend said that he got there around 4 o'clock. I want y'all to hear this little part again. Check this out.
It was close to 4 p.m. And according to him, along with others,
we move it back and play this part.
He was supposed to be on the same boat with Wells, but it had got filled up and he rode on a different boat. Williams would go on to confirm that he did see Nolan on the island. As soon as we got out there, he told me that he loved me. Williams would also go on to say that he last saw Wells close to 4 p.m.
Boom, I'm going to stop it right there, close to 4 p.m. All right. Wells was last seen at 3 p.m. on July 4th, but his best friend said that he saw him at 4 p.m. He was last seen at 3 p.m. on July 4th on the west tip of Horn Island. Willis' mother made the initial phone call, right, near midnight on July 4th. So the reports originally was that he was last seen at 3 p.m., but the best friend says, no, I saw him alive at 4 p.m. Let's just keep that in mind, that he was still alive at 4 p.m. What the hell happened between the time that people spotted him alive at 3 o'clock, some people, but now the best friend said that he saw him at 4 p.m., and that the reason why he wasn't with him on the original boat is because it was already filled up with him on there with the usual suspects. I'm just taking my time with this because it's so much information. It's so many things that don't add up right.
And according to him, along with others, reports seeing Nolan with a girl.
Thank you for being here, everybody.
Williams would also go on to share that he would end up leaving his phone with Wells's phone on the same boat in question.
Boom! His best friend. This is surgical tonight. His best friend. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Miranda, for the $5 super chat. Thank you, my sister.
Thank you for the super chat.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry if I missed anything that anyone said in the chat room. I'm just trying to focus on getting this right tonight. Alicia, thank you for being here. I say we see Yalpo, Sister Soul is in the house. Tina, good to see you. Mr. Reese is in the house. I'm trying to go slow and not rush this because I know when I rush my words, things come out wrong sometimes. I want to go slow. Remember, the best friend you see on the screen said that he last saw Wells alive at 4 p.m. and that their phones were together some kind of way. His and Wells' phones are on the same boat. I'm going to play that back. I want to understand what's really going on here. We need to understand everything. My question is, why did they lawyer up as soon as they got back? Because you lawyer up when you know you done effed up. All right? That's when you lawyer up because you know you done effed up. You done effed the mother you know what up. Why do you need a lawyer for someone? If you're innocent, you don't need a lawyer right that soon. But they not only lawyered up, but then you got one of them that had his possessions. Why are they hanging on to his possessions? Why did they leave him there? Why did they say he wanted to stay there? But now there's contradictory statements out there. Even Ben Crump says it doesn't make sense. And I'm agreeing with Ben Crump. It doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen. Another CG, what's up? I bet the parents lawyered them up. Yes, one of the parents is a judge, and I'm going to bring her up and show the picture of her and what they're doing. She had a son that was out there. They've already lawyered up, and all of these kids. What's going on, everybody that's in the chat room? Patricia, thank you for being here. Wilborn, thank you for being here. Everybody that's in the house, I give you a clap. Let me just say this right here. All these usual suspects that you see right here, they have all, Yalpo, everybody in the chat room, hear me out. All of them have taken themselves off of social media. So as soon as this happened, they hurry up and shut their social media down, right? Because they don't want people bombarding them, right? And they have lawyered up. Since we're on this issue, let me just bring it up right now. This is the lawyer. Here she is. She is one of the mothers of one of these kids. She went on to say this right here. A Mississippi judge whose son was on a boat trip with 18-year-olds who drowned, claimed her child left his friend behind because their vessel was taking on water. That's what she says, the judge, that her son right here, that he left him behind because the vessel that they was on was taking on too much water. Wait a minute now. Let's make some sense of this. Ashley Cole, the mother of Warren Hudson. Now, wait a minute. You know what? She must be a stepmother because they don't even have the same last name or the same. So maybe she's a stepmother. It doesn't matter. But the point is, they've already put out a statement. Ashley Cole, the mother of Warren Hudson, said that he and his friends departed without Nolan Xavier Willis due to a mechanical problem. Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. Didn't they just say that they left him because he wanted to stay on the island? But now she puts out a statement. Wait a minute, damn it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's put some damn truth in this now.
Tell the truth.
We got reports. See, it doesn't make sense. And then we got the haters out there that saying, y'all need to wait for the... No, it doesn't make sense. Everybody's got a different statement, y'all. First, we're being told that he stayed on the island because he wanted to talk to a girl. But then the girl says, nah, that wasn't the case. Then they say that, oh, they left him on the island because he wanted to be there, because he wanted to be with the girl. But then the judge said that the judge made a statement to the media. This woman right here made a statement as it related to her son that it was because of some mechanical issues. Ashley Cole, who's a judge, the mother of Warren Hudson, said that he and his friends, meaning who are those friends? It's the other one. It's the other usual suspects right here. These are the friends. Because he didn't just say himself. He said, me and my friends. Hudson said that he and his friends departed without Nolan Willis due to mechanical problems around 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. Nolan's best friend, the brother right here, said he last saw Nolan alive at 4 o'clock. They're saying that they left him. They said that there was a mechanical problem around 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends, she said. That's what the judge is saying. The mother of this dude right here. I'm taking my time with this because it requires taking time to understand all the nonsense. That's the son in the middle. That's the judge on the left. She must be a stepmother. It doesn't matter. She is already lawyered up and protecting her interests and her son's interests. She put out a statement. Ashley Cole put out this statement. Our family, along with the community, is grieving the loss of Nolan Wells. Yeah, right. Our thoughts and prayers are with Nolan's family. Our son Warren loved Nolan. You loved him. Okay, you loved him, but you never went back to look for him. You said that you were leaving because your boat had mechanical problems. You said you went and left with the other guys, but then you got some people in that group that you were with that was saying that you guys left him there. Girl, what's the truth and what's the lie? Unfortunately, I feel that it is appropriate for our family to dispel some of the rumors with facts based upon the social media attention that is being, driven away from the Wells family and their loss. Yes, I deactivated my Facebook given the very heightened emotional state of social media right now. I fear from the safety of my child, my children, my husband, and I have 6 children, and we covet their privacy. We do not believe it is appropriate for our minor children photographs to be circulating throughout the internet, presenting potential threats to their safety. I graduated high school with Christian Wells, mother. We are from the same community. I have the utmost respect for her and all of the Wells family. We mourn with the loss of Nolan with our prayers have been and will continue to be with them. Okay, well, have you met with the family? Because we didn't hear the Wells family say that anybody has met with them. They got a GoFundMe, y'all. We haven't heard the Wells family has already spoken out today, and they have never mentioned about anybody reaching out to them like the lawyer Ashley Coles. So if you so much care for them, you went to school with her, you so much respect them in the community, why haven't you not reached out? But you've already lawyered up your son. You're a judge yourself. You're off social media. We totally get that. But what's going on here? We got conflicting statements. Your son says that he left the boat. He left the boat because due to, he said that he departed without Nolan due to mechanical problems around 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. Mechanical problems? What are those mechanical problems? Are you talking about the boat that you on had mechanical problems? What had mechanical problems? Do y'all see what I'm talking about, y'all? Let's continue.
But would later retrieve his phone before going home. Now, outside of Williams' response, another friend by the name of Trace Carter would apparently give Nolan a warning to be safe before going to the island. According to Sun Herald, Carter would tell Wells, "Just hit me up when you get back. Just be careful, bro. Watch out for yourself." And in response, Wells will respond with, "I got you. I'll hit you up later." Now, according to that same report, it was also noted that Wells knew how to swim and had took lessons at a YMCA in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, where he lived, raising more concerns for some that foul play may be involved in his death. Back over on social media, Javon would continue reacting to the suspicious death of his friend. Over on TikTok, he would post a tribute to Nolan that read, "For all the times you accepted my calls, text me, checked up on me, hung out with me, laughed with me, I love you, brother." Followed by a response to one user who would comment, "Devastating," in which Devon would say he didn't deserve this shit.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. He didn't deserve it. There's something that doesn't add up about this case, everybody. Thank you in the chat room. I see people were in here. Nolan's whole family were anti-FBA, and look, that happened. Look, this is not, look, man, I don't know about what their opinions are about FBA. All I know is that a kid is no longer here. He went out to this island, Horn Island, in New Orleans, and he went out with this group of kids, these white kids. They go home. He don't go back alive. They claim that he wanted to stay on the island and talk to a girl. Somehow they end up with his keys to his car. They end up with his cell phone. That doesn't make sense. That's what I'm focusing on. This is about a life that was lost. Whatever our ideologies or our delineation views are, our beliefs, they are what they are. The bottom line is this kid should have never, nobody took the time to try to look for him that he went there with. None of those people took the time to look for him. None of those people gave a damn about him. Now, I'm not surprised that the usual suspects didn't care for him. So don't get it twisted. I'm not sitting up here like I was expecting them to be heroes and look for that young man and find him and have some sort of empathy and sympathy to say, hey, wait a minute. He hasn't come home. We need to get out there and look for him. No, I'm not surprised that everything that's going down is going down the way it is. That's what I'm looking at. A life has been lost. A young man had promise. A young man is not here. I don't know what Nolan's views are about, sir. This is a young man, still developing, still finding out who he is, still learning. None of that stuff really is important right now. His family's not thinking about any of that stuff. They're thinking about they don't have their son with them. That's what's going on in their minds. And that's what I'm focusing on tonight, because there's something that doesn't add up about this. Because if this could happen to him, it could happen to any of us, any of our kids. If our kids were in that same circumstances where they went out, I don't know if I would have let my kid go out in that situation with all these folks right here like this. I don't know. Something doesn't smell kosher about this whole situation at all. Nothing about it.
Stop going on motherfucking vacation with these white folks. Your white friends call you, say, hey, bud, what's up? Hey, you ain't going on vacation? No. Hell no. Because y'all keep going on them vacations and they keep coming back home and we can't find you. You got to tell them white people no right now. Not all of them, but some of them you got to tell them no.
Tell the truth.
I agree with him. I agree. Don't get me wrong. I agree with him. You got to say the word no. And you got to mean it. Let me show y'all another video.
Mother and daddy at home, everything we tell them to do and be. They go on the 4th of July, on the anniversary of this country, going to an island.
Now, for the record, I'm not a big fan of Al Sharpton. I've done a video when he got up there and tried to talk about reparations when the brother said, hey, if we don't get our check. And he got up there at that National Action Network convention and tried to clown that young brother, but that young brother was telling the truth. So I have some issues with the FBI informant that's talking here, but he is going to say some things that we need to hear because there was some suspicious things going on. He's going to touch on the key, I think the key issue about the keys. Check this out.
We're outing with his friends, and the friends come back, and he's left there with some story about he said leave them behind. But then by some magic, one of the friends has his keys and his phone.
Boom. So the whole issue about the phone, Al Sharpton, whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter right now. What he's saying is true. Remember I said in the beginning of this podcast that somehow one of these kids had his keys and his phone. I believe it's this kid right here named Jax to the right with the shades on, with the longer hair. That's to the right of the picture. He has the cross on. The father had to go to their house, as I told you all a little bit earlier, that the father went to their house and they were trying to act like they were acting very suspicious. They were acting like they didn't have any keys. And it come to find out they had keys. They had his keys and all this other shit that the father had to go through to compose himself from not doing some harm to these folks because they were trying to give him the runaround when he first got there. Let's continue.
His mother tracked down the phone. They didn't voluntarily tell her they had
right,
the
phone. The mother tracked it down.
They didn't voluntarily say they had the keys. So if they had not been tracked down, we don't know if they ever would have known where it was. Some of this doesn't make sense. So we are absolutely a National Action Network and other groups going to rally behind this family.
All right. So what I want to do, everybody, the mother. So this is what happened. This family, they were smart to do this. And I think we should all think about these things with our own kids. They had a 360 radar system or whatever embedded in the phone. So this is why they're probably going to catch the usual suspects in their lies, because they probably didn't know that the family had a GPS system, a 360 system in the phone. And that's how they knew that he didn't have possession of the phone. Because the phone was on mainland. Why would it be on mainland if their story is that he decided that he was going to stay on the island this island right here. I'm taking my time with this tonight because it's so much to figure out. It's so much to know. It's so much to understand. This island, Horn Island. The family was able to use the GPS system that they had embedded in the phone system that they paid for, that these usual suspects didn't know that they had on his phone. And they were able to find out that the phone was on mainland, which is why the father had to go to the house, to Jack's house, who's on the far right of this picture with the shades on, and say, give me that shit that you know you got, that he tried to act like they didn't have. You see, I'm taking my time with this. I wanted to go earlier with this today, but it's been a busy day and I've got some things to do tomorrow. So I could have went live with this, decent time on a Saturday day, but I may do a video about something else tomorrow. Give you another bonus program. What's going on, Sexy Red? Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
Let me go in here and see who I got. So we've got Mrs. Patricia Wilborn says they said that the Snapchat has a map in it and it's similar to the Life 360. Oh, so you're familiar with the Life 360? Tell us about that. Let me see. Keisha says, how would he know at that age? Mississippi police also have a historical track record of unaliving black people too. Facts.
Tell the truth.
School Dude 76 says, take your time, bro. Unpack it for us. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's why, some folks might be saying, man, hurry up with this program. No, I'm taking my time so that anybody that watches this video can get a complete understanding. And check this out. Everything that I'm saying to you all is backed up by the parents who gave their interviews today, and I got the clips. So even though we got a lot of people on social media giving their thoughts and opinions, I think the best opinion or the best thoughts come from the parents. So any information, everything that I'm saying to you is coming from Ben Crump, the lawyers that they have, and the parents. Another thing I want to say, that although I'm not a big fan of Tyler Perry's movies, I don't like the way he makes black men look in his movies and even black women. Even though I'm not a big fan of Tyler Perry's movies, I have to give Tyler Perry much respects and big ups for the fact that he's doing what? Tyler Perry is paying for the family's expenses for the funeral of their son, all expenses paid by Tyler Perry. He's flipping the bill on the whole thing. So even though I don't like his movies, we must give him respect because Tyler Perry does have a history of doing these sort of things that a lot of times he doesn't promote it to people. So I got to give him a clap. Let me also give another respect to Colin Kaepernick, who no matter how you feel about him, kneeling, whatever you feel about him, he is the one that is paying for the autopsy, the independent autopsy, which costs a lot of money. And if they were just to go ahead and go with the this Jackson, Mississippi Police Department, whatever hell department it is, they would be in real big trouble taking their autopsy report from their autopsy examiner that is in cahoots with the police any damn way. So they had to have money and resources, and Colin Kaepernick flipped the bill. That's why it hasn't come out yet. Hopefully maybe it'll come out tomorrow or maybe Sunday, maybe Monday. The autopsy report, because they've got, they had to get his body and, fly it. They had to, the logistics. Colin Kaepernick paid for that independent. This is great because you now have an unbiased individual who will be examining the body so that this Jackson, this JCS, whatever the hell they are, can't put a monkey ranch in there and try to flip it into something else, because they already are saying, which Crump and the family do not agree with, and the mother and the father are not getting answers. They're already trying to put out that usual, oh, he drowned. So if he drowned, nobody saw anything. The grandfather already said nobody saw anything. Brother Rob coming in. Taylor's gonna pay for the funeral expenses to take the attention away from him going through the gay act. Yeah, we know he look. It ain't no secret. Come on, Tyler Perry is gay, right? He just needs to come out and admit it to everybody, right? Whatever he's into, that's his business. To me, that's his business. He'll come out. He's got all kind of allegations against him. I totally get what you're saying. But to me right now, him giving money for the family, for the funeral, I think that's a beautiful gesture on his part. And maybe you're right. Maybe he's doing it to take attention away from his case. Who knows? But the point is they're getting the money. The family needs it. It's going to help them. Colin Kaepernick has done something great for them as far as paying for the examination for independent autopsy report. These are very important things. Once again, I'm not a fan of his movies, but I am a fan of what he did for the family. And the sister Patricia Wilbon says, yes, I have Life 360 on my phone for my adult daughter, and it shows play-by-play where they are and when they're on the move. Not sure about. Interesting. Information man, take your time. You're doing a great job, brother. Thank you. I'm taking my time and trying to do the best I can given the circumstance. But I have more for y'all. Don't go nowhere. It's a Friday night. Tomorrow, Saturday. Hopefully y'all ain't got no work. What did Craig say on Fridays? You ain't got no job. Well, y'all got jobs. You ain't got work tomorrow. Hopefully it's a Friday night. You gonna sleep in tomorrow anywhere, so you ain't got nowhere to go. Get high with me tonight, okay, y'all? Okay, not literally. I'm saying it more metaphysically, metaphorically. Y'all know what I mean.
Tell the truth.
I'm just trying to be funny. I'm playing off the Fridays theme, but this ain't really funny about what happened to the young man. Now, let's get back into this. It's a beautiful gesture. The family is divested. I hear you. Yes, sir. I'm reading some of your comments in here. Let me see. Are my comments being blocked? Can you see my? Yeah, I can see your comments. Why would they be blocked? No. Your comments are here. Exactly the business. We always want wealthy people to help. He's helping. Right. I know we do talk about celebrities not doing nothing, what have you. And I'm glad he's doing something. But yeah, your comments I can see your comments. You're not blocked. Hopefully nobody's blocked you. You haven't said anything disrespectful over here. You've been very hospitable. Let me see. So Tyler could do a lot more for the hood, but won't. Interesting. Anyway, let me get back on topic right now. I don't want to get too far off topic. Let's get back to what's really going on. Let's get back. So Al Sharpton said that they had not only the phone, but they had keys. What are they doing with that? But yet they got his phone and his keys, but didn't take any time to try to find him. Gave conflicting stories that don't add up. Now, I got some more for y'all. Here is another video. Check this out.
Absolutely.
Outside of the home. And Attorney
Listen
Crump,
to this right here.
What's next? Well, the deleted messages that Christina was going to briefly touch on, we want to get the phone and figure that out.
Backtrack on that. When we finally got his phone, me and my sister went through the phone. We went in his Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos. Like, there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos. Like, there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos. Like, there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's. suspicious,
Michael,
you know.
We having an independent autopsy done at the behest of his family. Colin Kaepernick helped pay for the independent autopsy. We flew his body up from Mississippi to D.C. because they wanted an autopsy done by a person with no interaction with the Mississippi law enforcement, because there's an issue of trust here that is really important. And the fact that they keep trying to say, well, suggesting it was a drowning, but nobody out there reported him drowning, it's not adding up, Michael Strahan. It is not adding up.
And honest.
Did you hear that? Benjamin Crump said that there was reports that they were saying that he drowned, but there was nobody witnessed anything about a drowning. That's what the police are trying to say. Oh, it's a drowning. But nobody reported a drowning. Nobody seen anything. Huh? It doesn't make any sense, y'all. None of this makes sense. And the grandfather, remember, the grandfather said this. I'm going to repeat this again. Too many unanswered questions. How can an island that was searched yesterday, when he put this post out July 6th at 7:59 p.m., Christopher Wallace Sr. is the grandfather who is the father of the mother. Island that was searched yesterday produced my grandson's body this morning. There's nothing right about this. Nolan Xavier Willis deserves the same thing that people he knew and associated with will enjoy in life. Facts.
Tell the truth.
Let's continue.
We are doing this because at the end of the day, I would hope any parent would fight for their kids to find out if anything happened, what did happen. So we just want honesty and transparency. We want a thorough investigation. We want that same respect that would be given to anybody else, and that's it. We just want answers.
Mm-hmm. And they deserve answers, everybody. They deserve them. This is what I want to do. Remember, I told you that the father had to go to the house of one of these kids, one of these usual suspects. I want to show you. I want to show you this again. Jax is his name, to the far right of the picture with the shades on, and he has the cross around his neck. I believe this is Jax. He was acting weird when the father had to confront his ass or confront them at the house. What I want you to do, because the audio is a little low, is I'm going to be quiet and let it play itself out without interruption. But I want you to turn your volumes on your phone as high as you can, or your cell phones, or your desktop, your iPads, whatever you're using, because the audio is just a little slight low compared to the others. But you can hear what he's saying. And let me go ahead and play this for you. This is going to be mind-blowing.
You need to tell us what you want the world to know about your son.
So Nolan was...
Here we go.
I want to do. So getting them and calming them down, it helped me focus on what I was really left for, to find the keys. And like
So let me stop this here and play it from the beginning. Here we go. Listen, everybody. Listen, listen, listen.
Were you able to get a clear explanation as to the chain of custody of this phone, like how that parent came in possession of this phone? And then explain the resistance. You said you went to the home to get the keys. I don't understand, like, what kind of resistance? What was that exchange of words like? The resistance you received when you went to go retrieve his keys. Thank you.
He just acted like he didn't know where they were. He was like he was clueless. He was like, I don't know. Well, just please. I was like, just please go in and look for me. Cause, be honest with you, at that time, I was very emotional. No one was giving me an answer. So that situation with me and them could have went totally left field. But since those other young kids were in there, at that moment, they kept me from doing what I wanted to do. So getting them and calming them down, it helped me focus on what I was really there for to find the keys. And
Wow.
like I said, when I asked him, he said he went and looked, and so when he said he couldn't find them, I did what I needed. I left out of their home, and like I said, 5 minutes later, he come back out with the keys, and they didn't come back outside anymore until the police came, because at that time, police were called because we were looking for his wallet, and then they went to the door. But other than that, when they sent the keys out, they locked everything. They didn't want nothing to do with what was outside that door. So that right there is, when you lied to me, it killed all trust in anything we had.
I just want to say this brief thing. They lied to the father. I want people, I'm not talking to people in the chat room because I know all of you in the chat room, all you beautiful people in the chat room, y'all know what's going on. But for the people out there, because there's black people out here on social media, Facebook, everything, trying to demonize black people because we are really analyzing this situation, and they're trying to criticize us by saying, well, you know, there's more black on black crime than there is. You're more in a dangerous situation when around black people than you are with white people. You know, you got those type that are talking that talk, right? But check this out. The father went to this house, as he said right there, and they lied to him. So if they don't have anything, let me say this for the cheap seats at the damn ball game, the expensive seats at the ball game. If these kids, these white boys, were not guilty of anything, why would they lie to the father when he came to the house and said, I think it was this guy Jax to the right of this picture with the shades on and the longer hair. Why would they lie to the father about having the possession of his keys? And you know there's the cell phone. That's another issue here with this too. Why? Everybody in the chat room, do you hear what I'm talking about? Did you hear what he said? Put sevens in the chat room. I'm gonna get right back to it. I'm gonna move it down a little bit, but I'm gonna say this again because it makes me angry as well. They have lawyered up. They have scrubbed themselves or at least shut down their social media. Even got a judge who's got in on the game. He goes to the house of one of these characters, or some of them were in that house. And they lied to him and act nervous, act flustered, lied and said they did not have such items. And then when he pressed the issue, come to find out they had the items. Is that the behavior of so-called friends that you can trust? Are these the behavior of innocent people? No, this is the behavior of people who are not innocent. This is the behavior of people who could potentially be guilty of something in the court of law, if this was to go to court, where they have to get up on the stand and testify to certain things and certain inconsistencies in their stories. Let's go back to it.
They didn't want nothing to do with what was outside that door. So that right there is, when you lied to me, it killed all trust in anything we had. It's like,
all right, we'll take the last four. 1, 2, 3.
You lied to me and it killed all trust, he said.
Maria Campanodi with CNN. 2 questions for Attorney Crump, just to get some clarification on the timeline of the events. When was Nolan last seen and by whom? And the second question is, who first reported Nolan missing and when?
Uh-oh, here we go.
And I asked his mother to also assist on the second question. But as it's conflicts. You know, the young woman said that he went and got back on the boat with the boys.
Oh, whoa. Oh, did you hear what Ben Crump said? He said that the young girl that they claim that he stayed on the island with she says that he got back on the boat with the guys, with the usual suspects here. But then they said that Nolan stayed on the island without his keys to his car, without his cell phone. Very suspicious. And now Ben Crump, he's the lawyer. He has access to more information about this than we do. So I'm taking his word for it. I'm taking it. This is real. This is real truth. This is real breakdown of the situation because he's involved in the case. Why would we think that we know more? Wow. How can anybody say that what Benjamin Crump is saying right now ain't true when he the lawyer? He got access to the information, to the statements. He just said the girl, I just read her, I read what she said. What she said contradicts everything. She says, let's go back to it. Let's go back to it. We're taking our time with this tonight.
And the second question is, who first reported Nolan missing and when?
Well, and I asked his mother to also assist on the second question. But as it's conflicts, you know, the young woman said that he went and got back on the boat with the boys. The boys say no. He said he was going to stay with her. And that's a conflict.
The girl said that she got back on the boat, that he, Nolan, got back on the boat with the other guys, the white boys. The white boys say that no, Nolan stayed off the boat. There's a conflict here. Somebody's lying. Someone's hiding the truth. Something's going on here.
And the troubling thing is if they're saying, well, he made the decision to stay behind, would an 18-year-old college student say, go ahead without me, I don't want my cell phone or anything? It just doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't add up.
That, around that 3 o'clock time, seems to be the last time that we have those statements. However, as Christine said, they're suggesting that they didn't leave till 4:30 though. So, you know, if you said you were leaving at 3, why you left at 4:30? And where was Nolan for that hour?
Right. Where was he? Where was Nolan for the hour? Do y'all hear what Ben Crump just said? It makes a lot of sense what he's saying. There's some problems here, folks. That's why these kids have lawyered up. Their parents are getting lawyers. They're quiet. This is why. The father said that he lost all trust when he went over to the house to one of these kids, and they totally gave him a bold-faced lie about having his personal items or item. None of this adds up. None of this makes sense. Let me go ahead and let you see the next video.
They didn't take his phone with them. His mother, when she finds out that her baby is missing, they start trying to track the phone.
Uh-oh.
GPS the phone. They've used Life 360, and they discover that, well, the phone is on land.
Uh-oh.
The phone is on land, but you're saying he went missing on the island. And so it's not adding up. And so they go get the phone.
Boom. I had said this earlier in the program that the phone was on the mainland, not the island. Yet they said that he decided to stay on the island and not take his phone, Benjamin Crump is on to something here. No teenagers. No, he's not. He wasn't a teen. They were, I think he was like a junior college student, 19, 20 years old, 21 years old, somewhere in there. I want to be correct here. No student, no young person in this generation is not going anywhere without their damn phone. And that's a fact. That's a fact of life. Something doesn't shake up right here. What's going on, my brother? Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
Appreciate that. Let me see. We're dangerous. Tell me one time a YT boy went off with some brothers and everyone came back but the YT boy. No, it never has happened. And if you know it, if that happened, every black youngster would be under some type of surveillance. They would be in the police department being grilled in one of those rooms where they do interrogation on them. And Yapo, thank you for the super chat, man. Let me give y'all some of this.
Thank you for the super chat.
Tell them run it up. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up. Flex, I'm down now. Check. No drip, this. Wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up. Flex, I'm down now. Check. No drip, this. Wet. Tell them run it up.
All right, let's get back to this.
When her and her sister start going through his phone,
Thank you for the super chat.
Jared, they realize that there are deleted messages, so they're trying to figure out, well, why are there deleted messages on his phone?
That's a good question. I want everybody to think about that. He doesn't have his phone on him. The phone is on the mainland. Something suspicious. We know that there was an argument that took place while they were still on that island. Mixed messages. The girl that he decided to talk to says that he left the island. The white boys that he was hanging out with originally on this island at some point in time, they say no, he wanted to stay on the island. One of them, I'm going to remember the contradiction. The judge, her son, comes up with a cockamamie story about, check this out. Here's another contradiction. Again, I'm going to remind you guys because I think there's some people who may not have been here when I brought this up. A Mississippi judge whose son was on the boat trip with 18-year-old who drowned claimed her child left his friend behind because the vessel was taking on water. Ashley Cole, the mother of Warren Hudson, said that he and his friends departed without Nolan due to mechanical problems around 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. So now they said it was due to mechanical problems. You see, here's another contradiction for those of you who just came in the chat room who didn't see when I talked about this. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends. What the hell are they talking about? The whole thing stinks to high heaven. It stinks. It's stinky because someone is lying.
I mean, it becomes relevant when you start putting everything together where we can't just say, oh, there's no instance of foul play. We're going to get to the truth.
We're going to get to the truth. Now, let me show you the other video here. When they were on ABC. This is on ABC.
Of course, too, they were on the boat. And usually when he is out there, which it's not uncommon, he's, I think, since last year, he's been going there occasionally with his friends. And so it would always just be like, hey, Mom, I'm back, type of thing. But this time there was no call or a text from him. It was from his friend.
And then, too, really didn't worry a lot about it because,
it was his last weekend to have fun because that Monday he had to report to school. We was preparing to take him back for camp to prepare for the season. So, you know, we understand he wanted to have his last little hurrah before he locked down and get ready for the season. Because, like I said, the entire summer he's training. He got more serious. He started to understand what I was trying to tell him about football, not just being fun, but as you get farther in it, it becomes a business. If you want to excel, and you have to understand, and you have to understand both at the same time.
And we know, Ben, that you said that you're going to do an independent investigation.
Yes.
And you say you have Nolan's cell phone and messages were deleted. How could you tell messages were deleted?
Well, his parents got the phone back, and that's something that's important, Michael, because they tracked this phone on Life 360.
So Life 360, but when I received the phone call from Warren, I immediately called my friend Tashima, and I said, hey, have you guys seen Nolan? Because her two sons, Jalen and Javon, like, they grew up together. They played City League sports together. When they got into school, they played sports together. And so she was like, hey, like, okay, the boys were pulling up the location from Snapchat. So the Snapchat location looks completely different than the Life 360 location. So when I pulled up Life 360, it was different. It was showing everywhere the phone had been.
You hear
like
that?
I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land. Like, I'm not. He's like, but no, he didn't come back with us.
Well, how were you able to get the phone?
So we tracked it, and my friend Tashima went and picked it up.
The phone was seen. She could see that the phone was on land, but his friends who left him there come back and tell the mother, oh, he's on the island, as if he was on the island with his phone. They didn't expect that, folks. You get where she's got them, where the family has got them exactly where they want them. They didn't know that he had 360 on his phone. They thought they could tell a little lie. It appears like they told a little lie by saying, oh, he wanted to stay on the island. They had no idea that she had the 360 and she could see that the phone was on the mainland. And he didn't have the phone because he never came back with them. The plot thickens. You'll see.
It wasn't like they said we got his phone, they tracked it. And that highlights all these contradictions, Michael. The fact that they said Nolan was talking to a young woman and she said that he said, I'm going back to get on the boat with the boys. The boys said that he said he was going to stay with her. And so that's an obvious contradiction. And then this video of this, you can hear an argument going where Nolan is saying, give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?
Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, I had made mention of that in the beginning of the show, that there was an argument, and I was right. Everything that I have said on this video tonight is not something that I'm speculating, that I'm making up. I did say earlier in the show, when it was my opinion, I would say this is my opinion. But everything that I have displayed on this show tonight and that I have told you comes directly from Crump, his investigation so far, what's going on in this. This is coming from the family, not no lies, not no make believe. And I said this in the beginning of this stream tonight, that there was some argument on the island prior to him all being disappeared, being not alive anymore for some reason, nobody knowing where he was at or what happened to him. No reports of someone drowning. But all of a sudden the police department out there says, oh, it must be a drowning. Do y'all get what's going on here? The deception. I want to play that little part again from Crump.
You can hear an argument going where Nolan is saying, give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?
Boom. I had said that this whole thing centered around the phone, There was something going on. I think they were doing something in his phone. And Nolan said, give me my phone. What are you doing? So that's where something went wrong during that heated exchange between Nolan and one of these usual suspects, one of these white boys. I'm just telling it like it is.
Have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it. Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And I'm going to tell it, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. Let's continue.
And so then his phone ends up missing. I don't know any teenagers, Michael Strahan, who says, if you believe their story, I'm gonna stay behind and I'm gonna leave my phone. I mean, no young person leaves their cell phone. And so then there's so many things their parents were telling us about, even why didn't his body wash up with the tide on Sunday? Why would it come on Monday? It's not adding up.
Oh, did y'all hear what he just said? Benjamin Crump making a lot of sense. Why didn't his body wash up with the tide on Sunday? Why on Monday? So now he going into maritime science right now when he says something like that. How many of y'all are up on that? Is that true? Would his body had washed up originally on Sunday and not on Monday? Let's just hear a little bit of that right there. Just a little bit, if it makes sense to y'all.
If you believe their story, I'm gonna stay behind and I'm gonna leave my phone. I mean, no young person leaves their cell phone. And so then there's so many things their parents were telling us about, even why didn't his body wash up with the tide on Sunday? Why would it come on Monday? It's not adding up. And that is the problem when you think about the history of Mississippi. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I have it backwards. Attorney Crump is saying, why didn't the body not turn up on a Sunday with the tide of the water? Why Monday? I had it backwards. I kept saying, oh, it washed up on, he's saying it should, why did it wash up on, wait a minute. I think I'm on top of it. He's saying, why didn't the body not wash up on Sunday with the tides? Why on Monday? Play that again.
And so then there's so many things their parents were telling us about, even why didn't his body wash up with the tide on Sunday?
Okay. Why didn't his body wash up with the tide on Sunday?
Why would it come on Monday? It's not adding up.
Why would it come on Monday? It's not adding up. Wow. Do y'all hear? Are you guys hearing? Wow. An autopsy would show if there is a water in his lungs drowning. I feel like this autopsy is going to reveal a lot. Yes, it should. The tide washes the body up on Monday. The tide washes the body up on Monday. Thank you for that. The tide comes every AM, every day from 24/7. Thank you, Sexy Red, for saying that. White says, let me see right here. You're saying they absolutely did this. This has happened too many times in the corrupt justice or the unjustice system are trying to cover it up because the family have tied their hand. Yeah, the family has got, look, there's too many contradictory things. They got to get this in court. They offered him information, you know, already. Interesting. Obviously. Okay. Thank you. Still, nobody has questioned the white family on the padded boards. Right. Interesting. All right. Let me go ahead and, because I got a video. I might have that video. Let me go ahead and let this is
that
already
is the problem when you think about the history of Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, the friend is
right. That is the history of Mississippi. Crump is right about that. We're not going to deny that. He is right about that. Let me play this video. This is this video that I'm going to play. You know, I want to see how you guys respond to it. It's a white guy. He actually says to black people that you shouldn't have your kids running off to these kind of places with white rich kids because they feel entitled and they do this sort of stuff. He's saying this because he has a son who is black. He has a son who's biracial, as they call it. And he said his son had an incident when hanging out with such usual suspects. Let me let you hear what he has to say and get your thoughts. Here we go.
Have got to teach your kids, especially your kids that are hanging out with rich white kids.
Let's bring it back.
You gotta,
this is what he says. This is what he says right here.
Black people.
Black people.
You have got to teach your kids, especially your kids that are hanging out with rich white kids. That is not good. You got to stop letting them hang out with rich white kids. This Nolan Wells situation never should have happened. The parents of Nolan Wells should have known better than to let him hang out with these kids. I have an older son. I'm not saying it's the parents' fault, but I'm just saying it happens all the time. My older son is half black. He looked more black than he did half. But he got into a similar situation. He was fighting with a bunch of rich kids in North Atlanta, the North Atlanta suburbs, the richest neighborhood in Cherokee County, Georgia. And he was fighting with a bunch of boys over a girl. And lucky for him, he didn't wind up dead. He just wound up locked up for a while. But it could have wound up with him being killed. And, you know, we as parents, we have to do a better job in informing our children about who they should and shouldn't hang out with, because matters. The color of your skin matters, especially when you're hanging out with a bunch of rich kids that have, you know, doctors and lawyers and judges as parents.
Now, this is interesting coming from a white man who does have a biracial son. This thing, what he says right here, I find interesting because I think it's true. He says when you're hanging out with rich kids, white kids who have fathers that are judges and lawyers who can sort of get them out of situations. Isn't this ironic? This is why this is ironic. And this is why I'm taking my time doing this video tonight, because what did I just say to you all earlier? One of the people involved in this who has a son, the son has a mother that's a judge.
Tell the truth.
And her son is this guy right here, Warren Hudson. And the statement that he put out is that because he got on the boat with the other guys because there was some mechanical problems with a vessel that he was on that was taking on water. Very contradictory statements to the other stuff that we've already heard tonight. This man right here on the screen made a good point there where he says, hey, they've got these parents who are connected, who have money, who have power. They're judges, they're lawyers, and they can get their kids out of trouble. But you won't get out of trouble. And I tend to believe or understand what he's talking about because we've all have seen it. Listen to this part right here.
Matters. The color of your skin matters, especially when you're hanging out with a bunch of rich kids that have, you know, doctors and lawyers and judges as parents.
Boom. Who have power. This is a good point he's making. What do you all think?
You know that your kid is going to either wind up locked up or dead. So my heart goes out to Nolan Wells' family. I really hate that it happened to him, but you gotta protect your children.
I want to stop right there. The reason why what he says makes sense because it's what happened to his son. So he's basically saying something that's based on experience that he had with his son, as he said that his son didn't look like a typical biracial kid. He looked more like he just had a black mother and black father. Little did he know his son. Well, what he's saying is because his son didn't look like he was mixed with white in him, that he got treated harshly in the criminal justice system because it was over a girl, I think he said. And that's another thing that men have to stop doing. We have to stop getting ourselves into squabbles over women, because the crazy thing about that is that when you're fighting over some women, there's a chance that woman doesn't want either one of you. She'll probably end up with somebody else besides you. So this situation is crazy. That's just a side note right there, what I said. But what do you all think? What is your thoughts? This is crazy. Let me finish playing this. Let me play this out.
Because white people will kill your children at the drop of a hat.
Woo.
It's just the way it is.
Now, to the haters out there who will keep pushing the narrative that, well, black people are violent, and if you're around black people, anything can happen. White people can be just as violent as black. I know for a fact because of the kind of work I do. White people do more domestic crimes against their children, their wives. They do more serial crimes. You know what I mean? Where they're taking people's lives. They're unliving people as serial unlivers. They are doing things to their children of a nature. They're engaged in more white collar crime. And they are engaged in crimes where they take the lives of their wives and their brothers and their sisters and their kids. They can harm you as they harm their own people, just as much as people will say, well, black people will harm black people. Well, guess what? If you're going to say there's black on black crime, well, there's white on white crime too.
Tell the truth.
And it's been that way for years. Matter of fact, let's go back in history. In Europe, what were Europeans doing thousands of years ago? They were all fighting each other. All these dramatic tribes, these European tribes, the Germans, the French, the Italians, they were all dramatic tribes that were fighting each other. All that warring that was going on in Europe, and y'all want to label black people as violent when white people have perfected violence historically through history. America was built on violence. Have we forgotten that? In the blood of black people. Let me finish this out. What he said is interesting.
Will kill your children at the drop of a hat. That's just the way it is. Especially these entitled little rich white kids.
I got to give a clap on that one. What do you all think? I mean, is he telling the truth? I mean, y'all let me know. Is he telling the truth or is this a lie? What do you all think? Is this truthful talk? Right? Facts. People are saying facts in the chat room, not just racist, but racist with power dudes. Yeah, facts. Ain't nobody wrong with it, but these are not our friends. Yeah, they're not our friends. I'm not saying they're not our friends. No. I've been saying this on this channel. For some of you might be new to my channel, but I've been saying this for years, that black people in America, we've got no friends, but we got lots of enemies. But we only got ourselves. And it's been that way since day one. And that's just the facts. Whether people like that or not, these are facts. He's on target with the entitlement mental. Yeah, the entitlement. Yes, you're exactly right. Exactly right. Let me show you the other video. Now, this brother right here says that he had the same experience as Nolan Wells, but he came out on the winning end of surviving his nightmare. Check this out. I believe this is that video.
So I'm like, oh, okay. So, but what we gonna do at the waterfall? You know what I mean?
Let me stop this and bring this back from the beginning. And here we go.
Same thing that happened to Nolan Wells almost happened to me. I think I was like 22 years old working at Texas Roadhouse. You know what I mean? Young, silly. Forgot a couple of the things that my granddaddy told me when I was growing up. I thought these people were my friends. Another lesson my grandparents taught me when I was younger is that you don't have any friends.
Facts.
You know what I mean? You really do not.
Facts.
Like, my siblings were always my friends, and I learned that. At any rate, I signed up to go on this, little trip with these people. They let us know, okay, so we're gonna get up on the bank right here, and then we're gonna go see the waterfall. So I'm like, oh, okay, so but what we gonna do at the waterfall? You know what I mean? Because I'm vibing, but at the same time, I'm not stupid. And they was like, we're just gonna look at the, sit there, light a fire, smoke some more, drink some more. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we get to the little spot where we pull up the canoes, we anchor them off and whatnot, and then they tell us, okay, so this little piece of water right here, we got to swim across that to get to the waterfall. So I get halfway through the water, and I realize that, and I'm losing my strength slowly but surely. And at this point in time, I am calling out for help. No music is playing at this time. You know what I mean? None. Yeah, everybody was rambunctious, excited, whatever. But you could clearly hear me out there in the woods. It's still daylight.
Listen to
I'm
him
screaming that I can't make it. Somebody please help me.
Wow.
They turn around, several of them look at me, say, you can do it. Come on, let's go. And they continue to walk off. At this point in time, I have already said my prayers and have already decided that I'm going to meet my maker. I scream one more time, I am going to drown, and I went down. I don't know who, can't remember who it was and what just made them decide to change their mind and come back, but one person jumped in that water, grabbed me, pulled me up onto the bank, and mind you, they didn't do anything else after that and continued on their way. As young black children, the same lesson that I'm sure you're telling all your children now, do not be the only one. And it really doesn't matter how people feel about that, because the concern is preservation of life. So for some reason, God saw fit to
don't be the only one, y'all.
Today,
don't be the only one.
And for some reason, God called Nolan home. So I will say that despite what anybody feels about how you feel about the situation, please have that conversation with your children. And that's all I'm going to say. Rest in peace, Nolan Wells, and to his entire family.
I agree with him. One of the things that he said that I thought everyone listening tonight, I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. This has been fantastic having this kind of support at this late of the night. One of the things we need to keep in mind is that he said that his grandfather told him that he's got no friends when it comes to these kind of situations that Nolan was in. And I think it's a fundamental mistake for us not to listen to our elders. Young people, some young people nowadays, they think they know everything. They don't listen to the elder, but no, we should listen to our elders. Our elders had it right when it came to that type of advice, realizing that you don't have any real friends. He said, this brother who just was on here that you just heard said that even when one of those white kids came to get him, came and helped him out, he ended up still leaving him and going back with the rest of the party to go on and do their own thing. So even when he was hollering, help me, one of them helped him, or took a long time, and one of them went and got him out of his situation and still left him there. And you know why this is still shit is still happening? You know why this is still happening, ladies and gentlemen? Because let me show you an example of another situation out there on the water where you got a black kid with a whatever you call those, life jacket on, who obviously could not swim. And he's out there with white kids, the usual suspects again. And they're sitting up there calling him, they're up there calling him all kind of names, calling him out of his name, even making monkey sounds. Do y'all hear me? So this goes hand in hand with what that brother just said, because here you got another one of our kids out here with these folks in a bad situation. Just watch. Watch.
Fucking life jacket on, Marquise. I'll just wait. Bro, you have a life jacket. No, I'm black. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna say.
Now, Marquise is a black youngster out here who says, no, I'm black. They're cussing at him and talking about, you got a life jacket on, Marquise. These are the white boys laughing at him and using that monkey sound. Let me bring this back. Let y'all hear it from the very beginning again.
Fucking life jacket on, Marquise. I'll just wait. Bro, you have a life jacket. No, I'm black. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna say. Bro, yes, it does. Bro, I'll just find a way. Hey.
Did you hear the monkey, the chimpanzee sound? This black kid, in my opinion, had no business out there with these fools that were making fun of him. He had no business out there. If I can't swim, I'm not going out there in no water with some people he's out there as the only one, like Nolan was out there as the only one. It's unfortunate. It's a sad situation. But this kid is out there with these fools and watch.
I'm black. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna say. Bro, yes, it does. Bro, I'll just find a way.
They go to chimp sounds.
Bro, you have a life jacket. I'm gonna die. I'm standing right now. Hold on. Talk to this side. Hold on.
Handle right here if you want.
Yeah, I might drown.
See, he still had fear of the water, even though he could stand up in the water because this water wasn't very deep. But my question is, I'm wondering, why did he even go out there with these folks in this environment that he didn't feel comfortable in? That boggles my mind, y'all. What do y'all think? Here we go.
Try to get over there.
You're not going to drown. I promise you're not drowning.
There you go.
Thank you.
What's your name?
I'm upset too, brother, listening to it. Marquise is his name.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was okay getting over here. And they think I'm about to swim back. I can't even swim.
This is so, oh my God. This angers me. One, this young man cannot swim. Somehow he got over there. These people came up and I got to keep it real. They assisted him because he was able to hold on to their raft. They're out there boogie boarding or whatever the hell you call it. While he's out there, the white individuals that he was out there with were talking a lot of crap to him. And the one thing that stood out in my mind is they were making those monkey sounds. So he's out there with white folks that see him as a monkey. They see him as a monkey. It's a primate. This whole thing is a damn shame.
Doing a good job right now.
Talking about 4 minutes.
And it's my first time here?
It's your first time? Well, welcome.
Yeah.
How'd you get over here?
They made me take that way over there, and they had 2 life jackets on.
They made him. Did you hear what he just said? They made him go that way. And they're cussing at him as he's talking to these people.
First time? Well, welcome.
Yeah.
How'd you get over here?
They made me take that way over there, and they had 2 life jackets on.
I'm glad we ran into you.
I'm never coming back with y'all.
We told you if you were coming, we had a life jacket.
Life jacket. Saving it for a big kid, this for a little kid.
You should have never been out there, young brother. You should never be with these individuals, hanging out with these individuals, the usual suspects. What, my God. My God, man. Do y'all understand? This coincides with the video that I just played for you where the brother told you about his experience. And that even when one of these folks came to help him, finally, one of them, to help him out of the water because he almost drowned or something of that nature, the dude ended up still leaving him where he was at and went on about his way. This kid is lucky that he's not another victim of a circumstance.
That's scary though if you're not used to walking.
Yeah.
I just saw my pool in my backyard.
Yeah.
This ain't your backyard, kid.
It's a lot different, you know.
Not your backyard.
I know, it's really strong.
This is crazy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm never coming back with y'all.
He says he's never coming back with them again. And this is why what this brother said right here, to me, made a lot of sense at the end of the day.
Black people, stop going on motherfucking vacation with these white folks. Your white friends call you, say, hey, bud, what's up? Hey, you ain't going on vacation? No. Hell no. Because y'all keep going on them vacations, and they keep coming back home, and we can't find you. You got to tell them white people no right now.
Right, right.
Not all of them, but some of them you got to tell them no. I can't swim. Why I'm going out there in the ocean for?
Tell the truth.
Now, it's going to make folks angry what I'm about to play for you. Jason Woodlock has got to be the #1 top sellout and buck dancer on the YouTube streets. There's a bunch of them out there, but right now he's winning the crown. He actually found a way to talk nasty about black people. He took a situation that was happening to this young, promising young brother who was not a thug. A young, promising brother who was not a thug. He was going places in life. He was already in junior college, getting ready to go to a 4-year college because he had got a scholarship, played 2 years, I believe, football at the junior college that he was at, something of that nature. The young man had a plan. He was doing well before this situation happened to him. And somebody like Jason Woodlock's fat water buffalo ass gets up on his goofy pop. I don't know why anybody listens to him. He gets up on that show with his usual mammy that he has on his show with him. And he finds a way to talk down on black people who feel that there's something going amok with this case. But he has to find a way to go back to, well, you know, black people are violent and you stand a better chance of being safe around white people versus being around black people. And black people, I don't know if they can count or they understand. He is the coon of the year, the raccoon of the year. Listen to this. It angers me.
we can pretend, if we can lie to ourselves that, hey, we're not the problem, we get to act like, hey, black culture is normal and it's no different than anybody else's. And it does.
This fool wants to talk about us lying to ourselves. This fool wants to talk about black culture when this situation that happened to Nolan had nothing to do with all of us. It had to do with a situation with him, with white kids who didn't give a damn about him when he went, because something happened when he argued with them about his phone. They're giving different stories. They're lying. They didn't want to give the father. Why don't Jason Woodlock talk about how they lied to the father? He wants to tell you and me we shouldn't be talking about this because all the evidence hasn't come out. Well, the family has already spoken. Everything I play on this channel comes from them. The father says that they lied to him in his face about what they had in their possession that belonged to his son. They've all lawyered up.
Doesn't need to be corrected or fixed. See, don't you see? Don't you listen to the hardcore rock music that white people listen to? They've got the same problem. And then they dismiss. And perhaps it's because we don't understand data. We don't understand.
This fool is saying actually Jennifer Lewis writes ridiculous poem about Nolan. Well, so Jennifer Lewis, who's an actress, she wrote a poem and they didn't like that. Jason Woodlock doesn't like black. He hates himself. He doesn't like black people. He wants to be a white man. He might as well do an identity transfer change or something. The dude hates black people. Everything on his pod, he's a grifter. He makes his money talking down on black people because he knows that his mainly white audience and sellout audience will eat it up. This overweight man who has no discipline always finds a way to have something negative to say about black people when a tragic situation like this happens. What the heck?
In math, maybe we've been so poorly educated, we don't know that 2 + 2 equals.
So now we've all been poorly educated. This dude, man.
Because we don't understand data, we don't understand math. Maybe we've been so poorly educated.
No.
We don't know that 2 + 2 = 4.
No, we know 2
understand per capita. We don't understand that, no, you're far more on a percentage basis based on the data. You're far more to be hurt in an all black crowd than an all white crowd.
Let me shut this down right here, right now. So let me just say this. White people can be just as violent. Matter of fact, they are violent. FBI statistics already lays that out. White people lead in most criminal activity at 67.4% or something like that, 2%, according to FBI files. That's overall crime, right? Black people, we do have our issues around the issues of homicide. That's true. But white people actually, according to their own stats from the FBI, they actually overall lead in overall crime. White people can kill you just as much as a black person can take your life as well. Now, when he says that black people are not safe around other black people, you got to keep this in mind. What we tend to do is that we take the minimum of people who do this sort of stuff, right? Black people who commit crimes on black people. They take the minimum and we make it the maximum. We take the maximum of people who ain't doing this stuff and we make them minimized. So in reality, most black people in reality are not engaging in this sort of behavior. And then we have to also recognize this. Other black people who come from other parts of the world, whether it be the Caribbean or African, when they come to America, their crimes and their behavior get lumped into black Americans. So just because the person is black, if it's the person that's black, they lump their crimes into us. You understand what I'm saying? Because you just become one big giant Negro to them, right? The fact of the matter is the majority and most black people don't do the things that Jason Woodlock is talking about. That's the minimum of us. That's the Sambos and Gumbos that are engaging in that. Sambos and Gumbos do not represent the black community as our full culture, right? Why don't Jason Woodlock talk about trailer trash? There are white people who have money and upper mobility call trailer trash. And trailer trash white people are the ones that are on methamphetamine. They're the ones that's out there robbing and stealing and doing all kind of stuff. They're in gangs. And white people who are not a part of that, they don't want to associate with the trailer park white folks. They'll tell you in a minute. Jason Woodlock never pulls up the stats, never pulls up the incidents of white people unaliving each other in their own families. But he'll take the time when a tragedy like this happens to a young male who's going places in life, like Nolan, Xavier Willis. He takes the time to talk down about black people at a time when a young man has had his life taken. Potentially, he's not alive, and there may be potential that there was some foul play when we've got misinformation with their stories not adding up.
Because white people don't turn to deadly violence.
Yes, they do.
As quickly as black people.
Lie. Yes, they do. Let me do a quick Google search. What crimes do white people in America lead in? Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. This shows you that this man don't know what he's talking about. He's just a blubbering fat talkhead. White Americans account for the highest total raw number of arrests for most crimes in the United States due to their majority population size, according to the FBI crime data, which I've been talking about. Exploring, they lead in total arrest for violent crimes. Aggravated assault, larceny, theft, driving under the influence. Raw numbers, white Americans lead in total volume for almost all crime categories, including violent offenses, property crime, and drug abuse. What did I say? The methamphetamine, right? This is simply because they make up the largest part of the United States population. Hate crimes. FBI hate crime data show that white offenders commit the majority of known hate crimes incidents each year. And that's just a small amount of what I just told y'all. So what is Jason Woodlock talking about that white people don't have the propensity to be violent and aggressive, but that we do? See, he hates himself. This man doesn't use any real data. The man just sat up there and said that maybe we don't know the data, maybe we don't know the numbers. I just read some damn data. Jason Woodlock don't know what he talking about. He's a fool, and the truth ain't in him.
That's just a fact. People are literally begging. You're far more to be hurt in an all-black crowd than an all-white crowd, because white people don't turn to deadly violence.
No, he don't know what he talking about. White people lead in overall crime in this country, and they have the highest percentile due to their population numbers of violent offenses. Now I've rest my damn case.
Tell the truth.
Tell the damn truth, Woodlock, because you a liar. Enough of Woodlock. Everybody, if you have gotten something out of this podcast tonight, let me know. They do have a GoFundMe. Of course, there's people out there that are putting out fraudulent stuff, and the family has already said that this is the real page here. I'll probably put a link to their legitimate GoFundMe in the link description of this video when I get an opportunity to do so. This has been a wild night for me talking about this, taking my time and you joining me, watching me here. I appreciate you. What do you think about what I just broke down to shoot a hole through Jason Water Buffalo behind statements, everybody? What do you think about that? Did I make the right statements? Was I on point with what I was talking about? Was I telling the damn truth and shaming the devil? Because he is a devil. Okay? Just because they live in good areas, they push the most drugs. Right. And check this out. How many of y'all look at those crime shows that come on television where you got white people that live in gated communities that be rich and be millionaires, and you be having husbands plotting to take the lives of their wives, wives plotting to take the lives of their husbands, wives and husbands that be having girlfriends and having boyfriends on the side, and because they want to be with their boyfriend or they want to be with their new piece of behind, they say, hey, let me plot to have that woman taken out, huh? How many shows, these homicide shows that keep showing you how they harm their own communities or their own wives, their own people in their family. So this whole idea that black on black crime is synonymous to black people is bull crap. It is not synonymous to just something that we do. People who live in close proximity to each other, who are low on the social economic ladder, who are using drugs, who have no jobs, no opportunities, they're living poor, they're living in a very harsh environment, you're going to have an increase in uptick in crime. I can tell you one time I was in Baltimore. Let me tell you a story real quick before I end the podcast tonight. I was in Baltimore with my uncle one time. He drove me through a neighborhood in Baltimore that was an all-white ghetto. And when we drove through there, he said, pull up your windows. He said, roll your windows up immediately. This is an area that you don't want to be caught up in. It was a white ghetto community. I looked and I said, because, you know, Baltimore is, especially in the inner city, it's all black. I said, I ain't never, living in California, I'm like, I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. I mean, you got trailer parks out here where white folks are living poor and downtrodden. It does exist in California too and around the country. But I saw for the first time white folks living in an urban environment like that, living real grubby. And you can see that when the thing I noticed is that people who live back east and live in these eastern seaboard type, areas, you guys see a fuller perspective. You see white people that's living, in them projects too. you seeing black people living good. You seeing all different walks of life living good and some living slummy. This is not to put anybody down, but I just find it interesting how that works, depending on where you live in the country. Okay, white people have easier access to drugs than black people do, especially hard drugs. Right, they do. You're absolutely right. What's going on, Afro Punk Chick? How you doing tonight? Exactly. If you watch Dateline, yeah, on weekends you find YT on YT, right, on each other, right? And then remember that show on Dateline where they were catching those predators? These grown men that were going after kids, the majority of them were, I got to keep it real, they were white men. The majority of them that were doing these things were white guys that were getting caught on those Dateline specials. So I'm saying this to say, you can't just this is for all the little sellouts out there. You can't just set up here and try to designate black people as being one thing when we're many different things, because there's all different types of black people. So when you say, well, black people, if you're around black people, you're more likely to have something violent happen to you. It depends on what environment you're in. Obviously, if you're in an environment where people are doing drugs and people are into criminal activity, yeah, you have a high chance of something crazy happening to you. See, it depends on what's the setting, what's the environment, who are the people that you are around. I have gone to plenty black events with black people who were educated, who carried themselves with dignity, with respect, where nothing happened. Because it depends on the crowd that you're hanging out with. I hate to say it like that, but the black people that I hang out with are black people that want something in life, black people that's doing something with their life. So when you're around black people that are ambitious, like young man Nolan, you're not going to have that type of experience. Okay? And Nolan didn't lose his life. Nolan had black friends. Wait a minute now. See, this is the foolishness right here. Nolan had black friends. None of his black friends took his life. So Jason Whitlock's theory is a bunch of BS. He had black friends that he hung out with. If you go into the social media, there's all kind of pictures with him with his black friends. He didn't lose his life. His black friends didn't potentially take his life. His life potentially may have gotten taken by the usual suspects you see right up here. And if you're hanging with the wrong type of crowd, no matter what race you are, bad things can happen to you with any crowd that ain't the right crowd for you to be with. And in this case, they weren't the right crowd. And it doesn't matter if they weren't the right crowd. And guess what? They all probably come from home. They all probably live in 4 and 5 bedroom houses. They probably got fathers that's judges and lawyers and psychologists and all that kind of stuff. He was hanging out and with what most people would say, oh, he's with the right crowd. He's hanging out with the white folks. He's got proximity to white folks. So that's mean that he doing all the right things. And potentially this crowd may have had something to do. And I say may have, allegedly, because we're waiting for that autopsy report to have taken his life. And I'm inclined to believe it to be true because the father said when he confronted these suckers, or at least one or two of them, or whoever it was, Jax, I think it was, this fool right here, Jax, on the right side, he said they lied to him when he was asking about his son. They said that they lied to them. They lied to the father when he was asking about the son's possessions. In this case, those possessions being the keys, phone, whatever it may be. They lied to him. Everybody, I'm at the conclusion of this program tonight. I've given it all I can give. I hope you got something out of this tonight. I hope I made some sense tonight. I took my time so that I could be clear in my execution of this podcast tonight, this late night. Appreciate you again. Jason Whitlock is a piece of garbage. Nobody should support him, in my opinion, because he's pure garbage. He's just he's an ambulance chaser for conservative right. He's a Christian conservative. He thinks he knows it all because he has changed his life around. So, and it really kills me when you get these people who was doing everything under the sun. Then they find religion. And all of a sudden, when they find religion, they think they know more than everybody else.
Tell the truth.
Ain't that a trip? They just found Jesus and now they think they know everything morally. They more moral than you now. That they can say anything about anybody because they done found Jesus, so that makes them extra more moral. BS. You can always tell somebody who's super religious that they were living the street life. Whenever you run across somebody that's overly religious, meaning they always trying to tell you what to do with the Bible, that they act like they are beyond any judgment themselves, 9, 10 times that person is somebody that at one point in their life, they was a drug addict, they were a prostitute, they were a thug out there on the streets, and then they find God, and then all of a sudden they want to tell you everything under the sun, like they lived a clean life up to that point. It's just interesting to me. What y'all think about that? I just find it interesting. Just Think 2000. Good stuff, brother. Yeah, thank you. Let me read your last few statements in the chat room, and then I'm going to end this tonight. Blaze Brown. Let me see. Let me put it up on the board. Okay, we got Blaze Brown saying, thanks for the important info. Thank you to the Noel situation. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Sexy Red, thank you for coming over tonight. Yalpo, thank you, brother, for coming in tonight. Good show info. Thank you very much. Shout 1415. What's going on? Come on to Jesus moment. Right. Afro Punk Chick, thank you. She says that's the Caucasian way. Just Think 2000 says good stuff, brother. Thank you. And we got my man Rob Finest saying all them need to be locked up. Yeah, I agree with you. They all need to be locked up. Let me see. We got this, brother. We got this one right here. Let me see. Kim, why that's bullshit. While there are some skeptic black neighborhoods to be in, sketchy black neighborhoods to be in, being the only black person surrounded by all whites has historically been right. Thank you. Has historically been bad for us. Matter of fact, Jason Woodlock says that white people don't engage in violence. What the world do you think the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre were? 1921, Black Wall Street. Black people had a thriving black enclave of business. And white people got jealous of that. They were already jealous of it. And when that white woman lied about being touched by a black young male who was trying to get to the bathroom, they destroyed black people's community, burned it up they burned it up. They put bombs on top. So don't dismiss me with white people can't be violent. Jason Woodlock is a fool. Thank you, everybody. I'm about to get on out of here. It's late. I got to get some sleep because I got to get up early tomorrow to get my car, do some maintenance on my car. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. And hey, who knows? Maybe I'll do a little video tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a vertical video because I want to touch on. There's some other subjects I want to touch on, but this Grand Plotner, you got these white liberals making excuses for this Nazi that comes from Maine. I definitely want to touch on that issue because we got receipts on him. We got receipts on him. And then of course there's other things to talk about too that's going on. I appreciate y'all. Everybody in the chat room, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. You tell somebody that you love them and share this video in all your social media. And because I appreciate that, you can catch me on subscribe to the channel, share this in your community tab, share it on all your social media. You can catch me on TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, okay, under the name Information Man Show or Information Man, either one. You can catch me on X and all that. So check me out over there too as well. Appreciate you all for coming over, supporting the channel tonight. I know it's been late. I would have liked to have gone a lot earlier in the day. I would have done this tomorrow, but I have some things I need to do. And with that said, y'all take care. Peace.
I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise. I'ma give it to you. Feel it, baby.
baby, stress is all around us. These high ceilings and I need it, baby. Pressure and make diamonds, I won't steal it, baby. Silent, baby.
Peace.
Hurts to see you crying, I know you trying, ain't no lying, baby. When I say I need you, greedy if I have to share you. It was me that all along did you wrong, thinking that I made you beautiful and strong. This toxicity, the death of me, I fear the day you gone. The most beautiful girl I've ever known.
I'll find a way to treat you better. I swear there's no one out there like you. You teach me to be better. My talk is cheap, keep asking what I do. I'll fly to the moon. Hope I see you soon. I'll find a way to treat you better. No problem, I'll do whatever. Let her know, I gotta let her know that she my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret every day. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for you. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Thank you, everybody.
She my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret every day. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you. Miss that smile, Lord knows I ain't seen that in a while, but it's your style. So something must be up keeping you down. You a queen that must be heaven sent. Pray my soul, I must repent for not telling you what I meant and how I felt. Honestly, I'm used to throwing wishes in a well. My conscience tells me that I could have helped without fail. Actions speak louder than words, and that's a lesson that I learned all by myself. Let her know, I gotta let her know that she my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret every day. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you. Feel it, baby, stress is all around us. These high ceilings and I need it, baby. Pressure and make diamonds, I won't steal it, baby. Silent, baby, hurts to see you crying, know you trying, ain't no lying, baby. When I say I need you, greedy if I have to share you. It was me that all along did you wrong, thinking that I made you beautiful and strong. This toxicity, the death of me, I fear the day you gone. The most beautiful girl I've ever known. I'll find a way to treat you better.
Thank you again for the super chat, Sexy Red 67. Thank you, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night or good morning, and enjoy your Saturday. Maybe I'll come back with something Saturday. Take care. Peace.
I'll do whatever.